Alright, here is the long anticipated spotlight review on the commemorative series Gigawatt, our Back to the Future DeLorean / time machine, which is now a proper Transformer action figure, thanks to some licensing deals. But before we take a look at the figure, we're going to take a look at his packaging, which harkens back to the Generation 1 concept with lovely artwork here. We got the name Gigawatt, we've got Hasbro, ages 18+, we've got the stamp here, which indicates that this is, in fact, a crossover commemorative of the Back to the Future and the Transformers. Looks great. There's more Back to the Future, more Transformers, and here at the top of this box section here, not this flap, but the box, we do have a standard transformation step-by-step tutorial here in 4 steps, showing vehicle mode, parts of the robot mode coming together, and finally the full transformation, which again harkens back to Generation 1. So here we have a side of packaging here showcasing the DeLorean coming out of the trailer from the film. And the best part about this is the way that they did this side of the packaging. This flap actually comes down instead of opening from the side here. So if you want to recreate that little scene when you pull your figure out of packaging, you can. On this side of packaging, it's your standard side that shows off your obligatory product shot of Gigawatt in all of its glory. To the back of the packaging, and here we got some tech specs. I'll let you pause the viewer and read it if you want to see what's going on here. And on this side here, we have a bio. Pause the viewer and read it if you want. And then we got more Back to the Future and Transformers cross promotions here. And we got some licensing down here with Hasbro, Universal, and the ET logo for that certain company, which skips me at the moment. My apologies. And that's about it. At the bottom here, we've got more of that obligatory product shot. There's that logo again, and then we got the authentic Transformers logo, which to remind you, if it doesn't say authentic, it's a knockoff. And that's about it, except for maybe one more thing. Inside the packaging here in the backdrop, it's a special schematic showcasing the DeLorean and its time-traveling capabilities, which looks pretty nice. Love it. And that's it. Now we're done with the packaging, I promise. Now we'll take a look at the instructions here, which are done in blue and black and white, and it just really pops, and it showcases everything that's being transformed perfectly without any issues of any blending, without any squinting of your eyes to see what's going on here. It's perfect. You can see this from far away and still tell what parts are being moved, what's being removed, what's being turned this way and that way. I love it. I love how they keep attempting to get better at this, and it really is paying off now. Maybe they should stick with this. There we go. Alright, now we have the DeLorean, and I'm going to lower the camera a little bit so we can see it in all of its glory here. Small little bugger. You know, it's basically just a extensive retool of Transformers Siege Sideswipe, or any of the molds from that car Transformer, and it's turned here into our lovely DeLorean from Back to the Future. And it doesn't look anything like Sideswipe at all. That's some really nice extensive retooling. We've got everything that you could come to expect from the actual time machine from the Back to the Future series. Especially the iconic license plate in the back that says "Out of Time." Look at that. And we got some painted tail lights. We got some painted headlights in silver. We're missing the license, the logo there in the front for the car company. But that's okay. I guess they couldn't get full license to everything here, and it probably would have cost them more. So I can understand where they have to skip, but it's fine. A little bit of detail missing doesn't really bug me at all. Everything else seems to pop on this pretty good. Got some nice race patterns going on here throughout the stroking on this lovely car, except for the top section of the doors here, which are just solid plastic, which, you know, just smooth. Rough, smooth, rough. Even the side of the doors are rough. It's probably the style of the car from back then. I don't know much about DeLoreans, but isn't some of it done out of like wood or something, so it would make sense. Painted up in some nice silver, especially the hubs. You know, the hub caps is what I meant. I don't know what I meant by just hubs, but we've also got, fortunately, they did the black plastic here for the windshields and the windows of the car, rather than that prototype that showcased them done in just clear plastic, so you don't see much of that ugly detail from the inside from far away. Up close you can see it, but from far away you can't see it. See? 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 Yeah, you get it. Right. Anyway, we do have some paint applications in the back of the circuitry and the wires to the machine itself. There we go. We've got Mr. Fusion already hooked up here. In case you didn't know, yes, you can actually perform the hovering or the flying capability of the car from Back to the Future Part 2. So this is representing both films rather than the third one, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice if we got replaceable tires just to throw something in there from Back to the Future Part 3. Maybe even the circuit board that would be in the front if it was actually able to clip on or something. I'm just saying they should have gone all out. It's okay. It is what it is, and maybe it saves it for another time, right? If they can do this again. I'm not so sure. Other than that, last bit of features that we have here is basically the doors can open just like the actual car itself. Not from the actual point to where the doors were actually open. It'd be more around this area, but due to the fact that this is a toy, you know, I can understand where the hinges are here. But the fact that they actually went to this attention to detail here, phenomenal. And it does tab in very securely, as he says. It takes a little doing, but that's okay. I'm on camera. Everything goes wrong on camera. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty solid connection. It's very sturdy. Love it. I just love this thing so much. We do have weapon storage, in case you wanted to know. You can actually take the blaster and peg it in down here, and it goes in there pretty deep, so it doesn't really look out of place from underneath. I mean, it looks like it's actually part of the vehicle itself, so it hides really nice. And sometimes, in all honesty, I forget that it's even down there when I go about transforming the figure, and I can't complete the transformation without removing it. Dumb. So I'll go ahead and remove it now and show you that this thing does roll like a dream very nicely. Oh, and I'll go ahead and remove Mr. Fusion now, so I can showcase one other thing here. You may have noticed it from the side. Yes, we do have the hook from the iconic scene at the very end of the first film where Marty McFly's trying to get back to the future, and he's got to catch the lightning bolt that's going across the wire from the clock tower down, and that hook there has to catch it at the precise time as he's going 88 miles and is about to crash into a building. So it's either it's do or die at that point. Fortunately, he was able to catch the lightning bolt, and he was able to go back into the future by powering up the flux capacitor, which isn't really back there. It's more up here, and we'll get into detail about that in just a moment. Now, as for size comparisons, I am so sorry I forgot to transform Ectotron, but I can give you an idea of how big the figure is in his vehicle mode compared to our little DeLorean here. It'd be about this. Like this. From my left hand to my right hand, that's about as long as Ectotron is compared to the DeLorean. And since I can't show it off to make up for it, here's Runabout, our Target exclusive from Earthrise. And they're about the same height, same length, same width. DeLorean might be just a tad bit bigger. Oh well, there you go. Alright, so now we are ready to transform the guy, so let's go ahead and do this. This is the fun part, just transforming this guy back and forth. Anyway, first thing we'll do is open up the doors, or should I say the wings. There you go. There's that. Now, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and open up these panels here, so that way we can swing down his legs. And go ahead and push in these blocky bits, or the exhausts, as I'm sure that's what they're called, because that's going to push out his feet and bring them down. Tab all this back together, split the legs apart, rotate at the waist section. Come over here, and we got to play a little bit here with these little bits that are going to swing down at the shoulders. These actually tab into the front of the car and keep it secured in place due to transformation. So if you don't go about moving these pieces first before you mess around with the front of the car, you might actually break these over time. So be careful. Swing out the arms, flip out the hands, and we're pretty much done at this point. Now what we need to do is we'll go ahead and on this double hinge here, flip back the wheels, as they should. Takes a little doing, but they're supposed to go all the way back like this, like so. There you go. You probably wouldn't be able to do that if you still had the gun in place. So now that all that's taken care of, we've got enough clearance to flip down the front of the car. And what we're going to do here is on this panel piece, we're going to pop it around as we got clearance around his head, so we can swing this around, showcasing the lovely time circuits and the flux capacitor there. More detail on it in just a moment. Last thing we need to do to secure this area is we've got a tab and a slot around the shoulders. We'll go ahead and tab those in right now, like so. Make sure they're in all the way. Readjust everything to your liking. Bring down the arms if you want. Readjust his head because he looks crooked. There we go. And once that's all completed, here we have Gigawatt in his robot mode, and a very blocky, stumpy transformer at that. But I can understand because, again, it definitely harkens back to a Generation 1 Transformer action figure with a modern touch of articulation. More details on that in just a moment. So, yeah, it definitely hits the 80s factor true to form. Look at that. It's just so beautiful. I love the way this figure turned out in this robot mode. And showing off the flux capacitor is the spark of this Transformer here. It's protected by this clear plastic bit in the front here, which is nice. Got some silver painted up around here. We've also got the iconic past, present, and future numbers from the actual time traveling in Back to the Future, as you can see. We've got 1985, we've got 1955, and then we got 2015, both representing, or all three representing their certain time factors within the film, which is nice. Okay, so other than that, we've got little baby flux capacitors here on the shins. They're not painted. Would have been nice if they were all spark blue painted, but that's okay. Something I can do on my own if I want. But as it is, I think this figure's got enough paint. Check out his face if you can here, with the lighting being terrible in my room. It's painted up in silver with the goggles of Doc Brown here painted in all spark blue, which is a nice touch. Everything else about this figure is pretty much what you would come to expect. There is quite the bit of kibble, but it does make sense that this is a DeLorean turning into a 80s style Transformer, which I just love. I mean, this figure is amazing. I really have no faults with it. This is truly a commemorative figure that everybody should own if you are a Back to the Future / Transformers fan. And let's go ahead and take his little blaster here as I show off all the details. And we'll peg that into his hand here, like so we can go all pew 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 pew. And then we'll take his hook thing, and it does have a peg right there that can go into the forearm, like so. There we go. Last thing that we can do is we do have storage for Mr. Fusion here. What we can do is we can peg it into the back as I raise this up a little bit, because you can't actually peg this into his hand all the way once you put Mr. Fusion on, but you can add some firepower here for his blaster. Maybe send somebody back into the past, into the prehistoric age. Someone being a bad person, maybe a Decepticon as punishment, right? Because, you know, things, right? So anyway, that's about it for, I was about to say Ectotron, but Gigawatt in his robot mode and all his features. So what we'll do now is go through the articulation real quickly. He does have a ball joint at the head, which is very powerful. Look at that attitude pose. Impressive. We do have the pin disc and the swivel at the shoulders. We've got bicep swivel cut. We got single jointed elbows, 9 degrees of bend. We do have inward and outward movement at the hands due to transformation, waist rotation, pin disc, and the rotation at the legs with this much kicking forward, that much going back. We got the full JCVD split. We've got our thigh swivel cut. We've got single jointed knees. That doesn't get 9 degrees of bend, but you can't really expect much going on with all this back here. And then we got up and down movement at the toes due to transformation, and ankle rocker pivot. And that is it. That's all she wrote on this one. He is a really nice Transformer figure to add to your commemorative collection. We'll go ahead and do a side-by-side comparisons now. that I have Ectotron in his robot mode, which again, I apologize for not showcasing these two together in their vehicle forms, but they are the nice duo here. It's like they were meant to be. I just love this commemorative line so far. They've made some really nice cues, harkening back to our 80s, our classic iconic vehicles from TV shows and movies. And I hope this line continues and goes into the 90s as well, because there were some iconic vehicles then. It's a really good line. Really nice, these two standing side by side. It's like it was meant to be. They're like partners in crime, his shadow and me, that kind of thing. So impressive. Unfortunately, that's where the story ends right now, because the next Spotlight review that I'm going to showcase to you guys this week is another commemorative Transformer figure, but it does go in a really different direction all around, and more details on that soon enough. So, questions or comments, you know what to do. Hit it down below in the comment section of the video. If you like today's Spotlight review, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to give me a sub up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. Don't forget to throw in the towel. And until then, this is Red as Power sign off, saying thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.